How do you feel about Trump bombing Venezuela?
I don't know how I feel about that.
Corey, how do you feel about Trump
bombing them or
Venezuela?
taking their or kidnapping their
leader?
So I'll tell you what I did. I didn't have an
You
opinion.
know, they did bomb Nigeria that nobody's talking about.
Right.
But
So
Venezuela.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think what you did was
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So
I think what you did was interesting.
I didn't have an opinion on it. So what I did is on one of my IG threads, and I said to my Venezuelan people, tell me how you feel. Are you happy? Are you concerned? Are you scared? Are you all of the above? And I got over 300 comments, 100,000 views on that.
That's how many Venezuelan friends you have?
I don't. Right. And I would say I didn't read all the comments, but I would say like 80% of the people who responded be like, their response was someone like, I'm happy, but I'm concerned. This wasn't the plan A. This is not the way I wanted it to happen, but this wasn't our plan A, B, C, or D. This was like our plan F. And I'm glad at least we got him out, even though we're far from things being over. So it wasn't like people, I think what I find is people are stuck on the hate for Trump, and it's possible that two things can be true. You can not like somebody, but they did an action that you kind of say, oh, I can see how that makes sense for this particular situation. That's what I took from it.
Like they got him out, but the regime didn't change, right?
No,
so
hasn't yet.
Yeah, and there was like they interviewed this lady here. She was a judge in Venezuela, and she fled to Canada because of their president, and because she was getting threats, and she had to. They threatened her to like sign a arrest order for like his rival or something, and I think she did it, but they were still like harassing her. They were like harassing her daughter, and things like that. So she fled here. So they interviewed her here, and she's like, I never, ever, ever thought this day would come that they would be able to get him out. So she was very happy, but
yes,
I think you're right. Like the two things can be true at the same time. Like I think from what I've seen online is that a lot of people are happy he's out because of what he did to the country, but like obviously like the regime didn't change. Like there's nothing. So I guess we just have to wait and see what happens.
But can I just say one thing?
Yeah.
On that? Yeah. So what I found interesting, because a couple people got at me. Right, I had two people come at me in the comments and be like, "Why did it have to be America?" I was like, "So who else was going to do it? Canada?" I mean, I was like, listen, I wasn't defending it, but I was like, there's only 3 countries in the world that has the gall and the balls to do something like that. It's the U.S., it's China, and it's Russia. So, I mean, why did they do it? It's in their backyard. That's why they do it. And obviously,
they did it for oil.
All of the resources. All of the resources.
Oil is a part of it, but really, it's a power play. You have your 2 biggest competitors, Russia and China, all making interests all over the world. Yeah. So you gotta play your cards. Like it's not fair.
They made a move.
They made a move.
Yeah.
World War III is happening, like, and
It's just different.
Yeah, exactly. It's not the soldiers in the field shooting each other type shit.
Well, in certain places it is, but yeah.
Still, yes, Russia and Ukraine, yes, but Iran to me is a country that stands out right now that nobody's even talking about, but they're going through so much more, and that's another world play that's happening at the same time.
True.
This is why I don't like talking about it too much, because all my information, I'm getting it from social media. So they could feed me whatever they want. And I don't want to really sit here and pretend like I know what I'm talking about, because I really don't. I'm only reiterating whatever I heard from them. And I don't do my own deep dive into any of this stuff, maybe through ChatGPT or Gemini or some other AI. But like outside of that, I don't really know what's going on.
That's why I ask the people.
And well, even that though, you don't know who's responding to you. A bunch of bots could be responding to you and you think that they're real because they got a bunch of profiles. Like it's crazy how manipulated we really are and how much we rely on social media for our news, but like it doesn't have to be the truth.
But I've always felt like politics is it's just as much of the narrative that they want to give us at the same time.
That's all it is though.
And it's just as much of a soap opera too.
But you know what I did find interesting?
It's just as much of a soap opera.
What I also found interesting about the whole Venezuela thing is the amount of people that were so far removed from the situation that spoke so boldly about why are Venezuelan people happy? I'm like, you live all the way in Toronto, Canada, not from Venezuela, and you're telling people that are from there how they should be feeling about the situation
that they're experiencing.
I find that very interesting. That's a very elitist attitude and mindset to have.
But they don't.
That's the
most
internet.
people don't see it that way, though.
But you got to remember, in the last 2 years or 3 years, again, the stat from online, but look it up, do your own research. How many of those people migrated out of Venezuela because of the regime? There's been like more than 1 million. I think it's like 1.5 million people that moved because of who is running it and the way that in which they're running it, and how their cost of living's gone through the roof and so on and so forth. Is that true?
How many of them ran to the U.S.?
Like, or other neighboring countries. And I remember that being a thing. So that's why, like, I saw certain clips where people are like celebrating and whatever. But again, I don't really want to fully believe anything anymore. And it doesn't have much to do with me. I hate to say it like that. Like, yo, they kidnapped them, bro. Like, it is what it is. Like, I was watching an interesting interview.
Is your energy change, though, when it's something involving back home for you, though?
Not entirely. Maybe like I'll want to pay attention to it a little bit more.
That's a dangerous state.
But it's like the only time that it changes when I was actually there. There was one time where they were up in arms and like shut off the airports, and I was actually physically there in India versus Pakistan. Right?
So do you feel like things don't like you don't think about things, or you don't let things bother you that don't affect you? Like, so if you see an injustice, like you're just like, whatever, it doesn't have to do anything with me.
No, it's not that. I don't want to carry it because there's injustice every day, everywhere.
And I was gonna, is that in his personal life or from a global standpoint? Like, if he sees an injustice happening in front of him,
I don't know.
That's completely different.
Yeah, but
that's something like.
Will you care?
I care, and I would likely step in depending on what the heck's going on. But I mean, like, respectfully to whatever, right? Not that I don't. I don't really care. He got picked up. Is it for the oil? All right, cool. What's the difference between this and what happened to Iraq when the whole Afghanistan thing was going on?
But you know what?
Who gives a shit about that? Like, so it's like the world is so up in arms right now. Either you're anti-Trump or you're pro-Trump.
Right.
There's like no middle lane. For me, I don't like it. Doesn't make a difference.
I kind of think
I just want that UFC card.
I think that's what they want, is your result, meaning that there's so much noise on your internet. You're just being like, I don't know if any of this is true. Therefore, you become pacified by it and you don't care. Then no one's taking action because that's not true. No, I'm just saying that thought process can be very dangerous, because if you get to the point where like everything online is fake or is not real, then you're just like, I'm turning a blind eye to it
and that's why I think what is happening in Iran right now is different, because that's a lot of people that said we're coming outside and actually protesting and fighting against this, and they all showed up for each other because they shut down the bazaars, all the markets were shut down, and people have been in the streets protesting for how many days now? And Iran has a lot of ties to Venezuela, so this is all just a world play. And I think Face actually has some commentary towards this too, because we were both wondering what's going to happen with Taiwan now, because it's a perfect time for China to go get 100%. Taiwan.
Oh my God.
100%.
These things are happening. Like, the world is at war. It's nonstop. And even the war itself it's an entire economy on its own.
And you know what's interesting about the Chinese Taiwan situation? They said, I think it was either the Wall Street Journal or the New York Times recently did an article and said the U.S. military ran 100 simulations with them being in war in China, and in every situation they lost.
Shit.
Where'd you get that stuff from?
It's either from the Wall Street Journal or the New York Times.
You get what I'm saying?
This is where you getting your information.
Like, yeah, right.
No,
buddy.
No, I'll send you. I just don't.
No, you could, right?
Yeah.
But that's it. You're at that level where they sent you something, you took what they sent you, and you're not that. I assume.
Yeah.
You're not diving any deeper than that. And I'm not even dissing you.
But even when you say diving deeper, you're saying everything's fake. So even if you dive deeper and you read something else,
I'm not saying everything is fake. I'm just saying I don't know what the truth is anymore.
Right, so I'm saying, like, even if you dive deeper, you don't know if what you're diving deeper
exactly.
is
true.
But what I was...
I know. Trust me, I get exactly everything that you're saying and why you mean it.
I'm just saying I can use that same time.
No, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I can use that same time, that same energy, those same emotions, reserve them for all the bullshit that I got going on in my own life.
But that's fair.
And this is why everyone's like up in arms right now.
But that's fair. But then you come to a point where if you're turning a blind eye to everything that's not you, on some level, that's a form of selfishness.
Yeah,
because we're in a global economy. What happens over there does matter over here.
We're already fucked
to a certain extent.
Just to say, like, we've already been fucked since like for the last 5 years. So I don't think like, yeah, maybe it'll get worse. Like, you know what I mean? Like, our global economy is like our house prices are through the fucking roof, our groceries through the fucking roof. Like, whatever happened in Venezuela ain't really fucking changing shit for me right now.
And the one thing I'll say about sources is, I think what's a major difference between now and let's say 30 years ago is you have multiple sources right now, which adds a layer of confusion. But at the same point, back then you had 3 sources. You had CBC, you had CTV, you had Global News. So you're trusting them and their point of view only.
Yeah.
Now you have all these different sources. So there's some pros and cons that come with that situation.
Mm-hmm. If there's one thing I do know, though, speaking about, actually 2 things, because I want to get to the Olympics. Because of what happened to Jamaica, over the holidays, I tried to get some ackee. Yeah, the minimum charge is $14.99 for a tin of ackee. Nuts. I thought this was crazy, bro. Was it just me?
Ackee's already expensive.
Bro, crazy. But that's how that stuff affects you locally. These global issues. SB, you understand what I mean? Like,
I do, but I'm just saying
these things do take a toll somewhere in your life. It's just a matter of how you identify
I'm sure
it, where
they
it
do.
hits you.
I'm sure they do. Like a lot of our grocery going up is related to a lot of these things that are happening. I get it. But I'm just saying, I know that I can't really change anything that's going on that global. Whereas I rather reserve that for something that's going on somewhat domestic.
New York Times. There it is.
It could have been whatever you said it was before. Like, it makes no difference.
Again, with all these world issues, do you think something that the Olympics helps to this shift the energy and lift spirits?
For like maybe a month or a week or 2, like someone gets to cheer on their country team and like celebrate the fact that they won.
Exactly, because the Winter Olympics are happening in 2 weeks and nobody cares.